Hello YouTube, Maze Madness here. Time to do a Grim Dawn video. Now, Grim Dawn is getting super popular thanks to games like Last Epoch and Titan Quest 2 coming out. I've been playing this game for years, got over 1,000 hours on it, and I wanted to show you guys what it looks like here. I'm going to do a new build that I've never done before. We are going to do an Inquisitor. I believe the skill is going to be Word of Pain here. So, we're going to do a nice little walkthrough here. Now, I've, again, played this game for many hundreds of hours, and a lot of the stuff to me is just kind of second nature, so I'm going to run through a lot of the stuff that I'm doing here. I know where many of the secrets are and all this stuff, so I'll explain what I'm doing as I'm going through here.
Still drawing breath,
Alright, just a sec here. I can't really hear anything.
What are you standing around?
Okay.
You're not looking too bad. The bodies you will need.
recording it. Look at it. It's right here. So you can move this around. So there's the actual footage. And then I can move this around, whatever corner I want. So that's how they do it.
In all my video clips. I put in all my video clips, and somehow I was cutting this clip in half because I needed to. It was when, I don't know, I was just doing something and I was gonna clip and I didn't know I pressed like find the note where I did it, but somehow I clicked it in the exact spot I wanted to.
I wish I could figure out this volume thing.
Yeah, Dad, we got 20 hours into the new season for both summers.
Love you, bud. I'm not really sure why the game audio is not playing. Whatever. But as you guys see here, so this thing is pretty powerful already. Look at that first boss. But as you'll notice, I am burning through energy. So we don't really need to change any of this stuff out yet, but there will be components that you can get that add to your energy regeneration. So once I get past this first boss, or sorry, second boss, I'll be able to get into town and I can show you guys what some of the components like that are. Because a big part of this game, early game, is being able to manage your energy regeneration, because you're going to have the need for a lot of skills, especially if you play on veteran or you start off on ultimate difficulty if you've beaten the game already. But as you see, very powerful, but I burn through my energy super fast. Yeah, this game is what many think Diablo 3 should have been. Didn't get a ton of credit. It was very, very early access back in the day when it came out. Very unpolished. But the game is done. There are 2 expansions, plus a Crucible mode, which is like a arena style, fight rounds until you level up. And then there is actually a 3rd and potentially final expansion coming out, hopefully sometime this year. It's going to introduce another class, a whole other area. Now, for those of you who haven't played, these purple rift gates are exactly what they're, rift gates. So this is how you beam across the world. So you can see this map is gigantic. All these question marks are those rift gates. You're going to want to get all of them. Makes travel, makes side quests a lot easier. Just getting around, and there's a lot of extra content that you'll find. Stuff that's locked behind level gates that you're going to want to revisit. And so what we're doing now, our first goal is to get into that cave, kill the dude that's in there, and unlock the gate to town. Now, you see all of the items here have color coding on them. So obviously you got just regular stuff, magic. This is the kind of rare stuff. The little symbol next to it, that is a infrequent or rare item. So you'll get like monster infrequents. There's certain drops that are repeatable. So those are the ones you want to hold on to for sure. But the loot filter on this is pretty nice. So we're going to go down this little ring guy here, go to loot filter. I do not want to see common stuff. For now, I'm going to leave all these on here. Always want to show double rare. One thing that I've learned over the last couple years of playing this, when you turn certain things on or off here, it's global for all the items. So like if I say I want to only see my masteries, literally I'll only see those. If I choose a damage type for a weapon, everything else is excluded. There could be great items that drop that don't have pierce damage, for instance, that you just don't see. So you kind of have to play with this to figure out how exactly you want to use it. Now there are mods you can get that expand that tremendously, but for now we're just going to play with the game as is. I'm going to keep these so I can sell them. As you see, the skill so far Word of Pain is pretty legit. We haven't got to any of the modifiers. We haven't found any items that modify it. So you'll find items that add damage to it, that change the damage, that add different aspects to it. It gets pretty complicated, which is pretty cool. You can literally change the entire way that an item or a skill works based on the items that you get. And now you see I'm starting to get to a point where my energy levels are trash. So my next level up is probably going to be for some spirit. Alright, first cave. Couple things to point out in this cave. So down here you see there's this ruined shrine. When we get that, I'll show you guys the celestial board. So there is on top of the deep skill grid and the attributes here, you get a devotion tree. When you unlock those ruined shrines, you get points to put into here that help you expand your build tremendously. From defense to offense, resistances, pretty much everything that you need is in here, which is really cool. And this guy, he can be as pain in the ass. I'm going to try to just kill him fast because I don't like him. Especially since I have 0 defense. But thankfully this has got a good dot to it. And you just see he's pretty much toast. Yay. We'll pick all this stuff up. And you guys notice all of the gold and components get picked up automatically, which is super awesome, so you don't have to worry about clicking 8,000 items to pick them up. Now, I'm going to point this item out here. So I mentioned earlier about items changing skills. So you see this one, there's 2 skills on here. Caldor's Tempest, Flame Touched. You can see it adds a skill recharge, deduction, crit damage, and it actually changes the damage type. So Caldor's Tempest is both lightning and ether damage. This makes it all fire, which then you can scale with fire components, fire skills. It changes that skill completely. It's pretty cool. I actually have another build that I'm working on that is Caldor's Tempest. I can show everybody what that looks like. It's pretty cool, super convenient, very good small circle AoE. So now we've unlocked that. As you see, when you go in there, it's going to ask for components. There are some of these that have vines on them that you have to fight monsters to restore, which is cool either way. They always drop loot. Nothing important here for loot, but if we go to devotions, so now we've got a point, so you have to unlock the crossroads here first to start branching out. Now each of these will tell you what you need. So in order to activate it, I need 1 gold affinity. But then you can see each of these little stars gives you all sorts of different stats. And then at the end, if they have this little nebula, if you will, it's a skill. Now some of these can be attached to defensive skills or buffs. Some of them get attached to your attacks and give you additional attacks. So for us, I'm not really sure what I'm going to do yet. We're going to hold on to that bad boy. Say my power output right now is pretty high. But what I'm thinking is that there is an elemental one that you get to where I believe it's 25% of your attacks have a chance to unleash a small little whirlpool, if you will, that not only does an elemental attack, but also reduces the enemy's elemental resistances. So, for the sake of game one energy, I'm going to do a point in spirit here. We're going to go back. And so, what I want to try to do is get to Word of Agony so we can get not only the additional area, but get some more damages. Right now, this is pumping out some pretty good damage. The energy cost is pretty high, but I want to get to this so I can unlock the next skill, which is a Word of Renewal. So, this is a good skill for obviously health restore, gives you some defense, and then this kind of leads into some other stuff where you can get extra armor and health, extra resistances. So 2 or 3 classes have these that you can use kind of as like a second heal, which is pretty cool. And then I'm going to also unlock this guy down here, which gives you additional damage boost, which is always nice. And so we're going to kind of go along this path, unlock these, get this guy here. The end game for this one here, we're going to get to the Inquisitor Seal, which initially starts off with a heal and some resistances, and then adds to damage. And then for this Inquisitor, we'll probably wrap up with Order of Censure. Now, this thing is pretty cool, so you're going to be pretty close contact with enemies a lot, especially when you have the Inquisitor Seal. This is like a gigantic seal that sits on the ground, so you're going to sit within there, draw enemies in while you're hitting them with Word of Pain. That's going to obviously help heal you, keep you protected. When they get close enough, this is going to rip down their resistances, and it's going to burn them, and it's just going to make life a lot easier. And so that's the plan for this skill here. As you see, you can do things like get some guns, do dual wield, and then so this skill right here, these are all passives. So this will give you a bonus damage and attack speed. Then these ones right here, these 3 are all elemental triggers, and so there are a lot of different skills that activate off of default weapon attacks. So let's say like I've got my little regular weapon attack down here. If I activate all of these with some skills, as you see, I get percentage chances for them to be used, and so you can have different builds that really kind of span off of all of those. So typically with an Inquisitor, I'll do dual wield, run this route to get extra damage, pop all these, and by the time you get to end game, you are shooting 13 or 14 different rounds of elemental rounds, just clearing the screen like crazy. It's awesome. Yeah, this game is pretty fucking fun. All right, nobody here, so we're gonna go back to town. So first quest is done. Turn that bad boy in. I'm gonna change the camera back now. You can, again, feel free to play however you want to, but up here you'll notice the compass. I like to just try to keep north, pointing as north as possible. It is good, however, to change the camera around. There are tons of secrets in this game. I haven't seen all the secrets, and again, I've played over 1,000 hours. So it just tells you you can spend a ton of time exploring every nook and cranny in this game. And if you want to, you can obviously read all of these things. Again, I'm not going to read them. They're just quests. All right, we're going to go to the vendor. We're going to get rid of some of this stuff here. Cool thing is you can just right click to get rid of all this. So I'm going to keep scraps. So I think these purple items, you want to keep these because these are usable either for quests, for world interactions, for all sorts of fun stuff. Oh, this is the guy that I saved. Sweet. Got a quest giver. So anytime you see an exclamation, that is a quest giver. And you'll notice that there's a lot of empty space here. There are people you can find out in the wild who can be saved. They'll come back here. You can get quests off of them. Now, this lady right here, Spirit Guide, she does 1 of 2 things. If you want to remove some of your skill points, you can. It costs you money. So, you're not locked in, which is kind of nice. And then also, once you have devotions, you can remove those from the tree as well. So everything is kind of refundable. The only thing that are not refundable are your class choices. So once you make that decision, you're kind of stuck. somehow I have a bunch of points. So we are going to get to 10, and I'm going to unlock this guy here. My next level up, which is coming soon, we'll do Word of Renewal and get Deadly Aim. I'm just going to put 1 point in here for now. This is something you kind of power load at the end of things here. But you see right now, so we've got a good amount of damage and we slow enemies. We got a nice radius. And as you see, they tick for 8 seconds. And then now I have an additional one, which expands the area and hurts the enemies even more. So this skill is going to get nice real fast. So now we're going to go over here to this dude with the chest over his head, smuggler. So you've got a couple of things here. So all these are stashes, so you can buy additional stashes. And you see this icon right here is for the account-wide character stash. So this attaches to every character that you play. And so you can save a bunch of things. As you see, I've got a lot of components, a lot of items from lots of characters that I've played. So I want to show you here these components. So there's a ton of these. You unlock different recipes throughout your play where you can learn the recipe and then you can make them with a blacksmith that you end up unlocking. Then these right here are relics. They go in this little spot here. There are 3 tiers of these. These offer some pretty cool buffs. So obviously you can get all sorts of different stat bonuses. They offer some skills. Sometimes they even give you global +1 skills for your class. So this is where you can really customize the build. Now what I'm looking for here, I'm not leveled up enough yet, but it's ectoplasm. This gives you 20% energy and 3 energy regen per second. So this is perfect for casters. So I'm gonna hold on to this. Now, to be fair, this early in the game, you don't usually get these. I don't think you start seeing the ectoplasm drop until Act 2 when you fight ghosts. But I'm a cheater. All right. So what I came over here for, I need to get some scrap for this quest here. And so we're gonna steal some scrap. As you see, I got a ton of scrap. Oop, I don't want all that scrap. I want control click. I want 20 scrap. Oops, 20 scrap. So we got enough scrap to get our old boy to let us into the sewers here. The important part of the sewers is there's another shrine down there. Now, before I go into the shrine area, which is over here, there's a couple of cool little side areas. So down here you see, oh, look at that. There's a bridge that's out. Man, I wonder if I can get over there. So you'll be able to eventually do that. And then we go this way. That's where they were hanging me. There's another bridge. Now, I have enough scrap to do this. You won't usually get enough until later on, but this takes you to Act 2. Now, you could grind, find some scrap, go over there. You're going to get murdered, so I wouldn't do that. Cool. Look at that. We got a quest. So now, War Physique, please. Renewal, that. And now, so we got energy cost of 1. This is 2, so this is cheaper. So I want to increase my damage, but also keep my cost down. So now this, we're going to assign this to another skill down here. So I'm probably going to put him on A. And so you see this actually lasts for a little bit of time. So when you pop it, lasts for 12 seconds. Or sorry, lasts for 60 seconds. Every 12 you can refresh. So when you refresh, it just restores some of your life. The rest of the stuff stays here, so your damage that you get at the bottom, and then the defensive ability, movement speed, those all stick. So this is super helpful. So now we're going to go into the sewers here. Now these tunnels, having played a bajillion builds down here, and dying to several different mobs down here, this is where things get a little tougher at the start. If you don't have enough damage and or healing or resistances, there's a lot of pierce that goes down on here, and then a lot of poison. Like those dudes, they shoot things at you which are considered pierce. Then you got zombies. You got some fire dudes down here. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? Let's kill these fools. All right, so ectoplasm. So I got 2 rings. not doing that guy right here. So we're going to put ectoplasm in there. Now, you see this is super high, and then I should be able to pretty much spam this for a little bit. And we're going to pick that up because I'm bad. Look at that. Thought I was powerful, not quite enough. And so you want to break as much of this stuff as possible early game. There's a lot of items that are breakable. You got lots of chests. I might be able to get lucky and do this from here, can I? Yes. Blow these guys up. Yeah, those spiders will kill you early game. Crumbling wall. So there's a lot of little secret areas you'll find. You quite literally just need to map over everything. Now let's see if I can use rope thrust here. So pants. Yeah, definitely. Ooh, you know what? I'll take the tome because it gives me regen, skill cooldown, get some spirit. That's all the stuff I need here. Yeah, I don't really care about the weapon. But more energy regen, the better. Look at that. I'm a librarian. Hold the book. Alright, breaking that door here. Bam, let's get that guy. Did you see this? Works pretty well, doesn't it? Nice little dot. Kind of strong. Got a good range on it. Don't have to get too close to anybody, which at the start of the game is not too bad, but like these guys, they're strong. They'll stun you. This is not good. Lots of fire. But as you see, you can dodge and avoid stuff. Now you'll find pieces of scrap like that all over the place. And so if you don't have the inventory that I have, you're gonna want to salvage pretty much everything you see on the ground. Click it, shoot it, blow it up. Lots of this stuff gives you very important things that you need throughout your journey. Look at that. And anything that's glowing, look at that. Gives me some pants. Oh boy, here we go. This is fun. Blow these mofos up. That was nice. And I don't think there's a solo self-found version for this game. I thought about doing that for this, but I didn't really look into it. Some of you might like that. Oh, another level up. Cool. So we're just going to keep it on pumping physique. Now that we've got this here, I'm going to take a minute to do a little bit of, we're going to go here, here, and here. So I want to keep progressing my bar. Obviously, it gives me all the stats I need. Also moves me down where I need to be. But then slowly build these things up. Once you get to a good point, then you can just start dumping, right? Like once my energy levels are high enough, I'll probably try to max this out or this one out just to get myself to a good point. Now, because I've done this, I'm going to put a portal here because behind this door is a lot of spiders and these dudes will rip you up. I cannot tell you how many times I've died here, especially with like physical builds where you're doing like dual wield and you don't quite have the damage yet or any of the defensive measures you need. Because it's really in the game, you're not really going to get pierce resistance on any of your stuff. Poison you can get, but not pierce. And yeah, these dudes will murder you. Now, the cool thing is once you get past this, the enemy type changes. Alright, we've seen enough yellow. I'm going to turn off magic. So we're just going to leave rare and up. As you see, this is pretty effective. Boom. Dodge that guy. Oh, I see shining piles of refuse and scrap. Get some of our currency. So you see, this is going pretty well. And you might be saying, yeah, this game looks pretty easy. It can be. If we started this on veteran, this would be a lot harder. Once you finish the first act boss, or not first act, but the first part of the game, I believe it's Act 5, you can then jump over to Ultimate, but yeah, Ultimate is a bitch, so I wouldn't do it. It gets hard real fast. And if you really like punishment, once you finish the main game, you can go to the Forgotten Gods desert town and you can get an item that allows you to start your game off fresh with a character in Ultimate. And that's a lot of fun. You will die a lot. but you level up super fast. By the time you get down here, you're like level 20. Which you start off with all the resistance penalties. I believe it's like negative 50% for almost all the resistances, which is awful. Because you know those Souls fans will probably like it. Alright, now coming up on the boss down here. This dude sucks. Yeah, that's him. I'm just gonna let him cook for a sec. We're gonna clear all the trash bombs. I don't need anyone interfering with me. So the cool thing is, because we got this attack, we can just kind of stay out of his way. Because he'll jack you up. He's pretty strong. You stay out of that portal. And then he's got his little, yeah. It's when he does that, you want to get out of the way. That'll stun you. It can, yep, it got me anyway. Cool. That's a good thing I got this heal, right? I'm just going to blast him a little bit. Woo. I think I got Word of Pain. Nope, stay out of there. And you see I healed, so you can do quick heals. The heals have timers on them. There's no more potions. That's actually a pretty big quality of life change that this game had. They used to have potions, so you would have hundreds of them. I used to have 4 or 5 slots of potions that I would keep. Alright, so we got some gear here. So this ring, pretty solid ring, ideally for early game. I don't really care about 8th resistance, and it's only 9%, but you want to have rings that have some sort of regen on them. So all this is trash. We'll sell this crap and get back to town. Oh, another one of these. Cool, Ruined Shrine. And you see that Ruined Shrine wanted some of these Aether Crystals, that's why you keep them. You also get some EXP, so we're going to keep pushing this here. Now, if you're wondering, oh, what's my DPS for this damage? What does it look like here? So you can't really tell, right? Kind of difficult. This is about as good as Diablo 4's in terms of giving you damage. The next page here gives you a damage per hit weapon type of deal. So this will show you 3 different skills and what their damage output is. Now, 2 of them come off of this here. So what I always like to do is put the skill that I want to look at in the right slot for my right mouse button, because I don't use it. Not only does it tell me what the damage is, but it gives me a breakdown. So this is really important when you start getting items that change your skills, that convert things over. So if we look, we got cold, fire, lightning damage. I might get an item that converts all the cold and all the fire to Aether or to lightning. And then so what you can do is look at your items, and you'll see the gray text here as just for the item itself, that's physical damage. And the stuff in the gold text is what's important. So if I am looking to increase my damage for this, I've got 2 to 3 fire damage plus the percentages are fantastic. So like this item, if this had like 90% fire damage, that would go up. They don't have anything though. So I'll try to find an item to show you guys what that looks like. But for now, we're going to go back. So if you're using mouse and keyboard, L is your down portal. And now we're going to turn that quest in. Sweet, took care of that boy. Alright, let's go to the vendor. We're going to sell this crap. Ooh, we unlocked one of our 5 additional chest slots. So I always move all of my key items over here. The rest of the stuff, let's get rid of it. Sell it out. Oh, that was a mistake. I just sold some armor, didn't I? Yeah. Whatever. Cool. I'm going to keep this over here because I need this. So if we look at weapons here, now a lot of these are not going to be ideal for our build, so we're going to skip that. Right now, what I like to look at here are the rings and amulets. So I don't even have an amulet. So let's check here. 2 energy, that's cool. 3 to 5 fire damage. That's probably the one to look at here. That's nice because it gives us both health and energy. And yeah, that's good too. Don't care. So we're going to do this one. And you see, no jump. So this is not working off of that. It's only going to work off percentages. That fire damage is only going to my physical attacks. However, I get energy regen. Now let's check some of these rings. Look for some energy regen because neither one of these have energy regen. I got health, but we're not really too worried about that right now. Ooh, that's nice. Don't care, don't care, don't care. Yeah, that's not bad. Energy. So attack speed also doesn't matter for us. You know, I'm just gonna hold off on that. I would like to get something with a percentage boost. Let's see if I can find something here. Percentage. Okay, we'll type in fire. Even that. So what I'm looking for is the fire damage percent boost. So we're just gonna leave that alone for now. And then you'll notice on your map, guys, these stars, they can both be accepted quests and new ones you need to turn in. So just keep an eye on that. You need to turn in as many quests as you can. You see I'm already level 9. So the early game you level up pretty quickly. It does slow down a little bit, especially when you get into some of the later stages. Oh, and if you didn't notice on the map, so when you hit M, it takes you to where you're at, and you see this map is huge. Local map takes you to the world. I don't know why they call it local. As you see on here, these little shrines, it shows you any shrines that you've seen. And if they got checked, that means you've got them. If they are X'd out, that means you still need to either restore them or use the item to wake it up that you need. Don't leave those on the table. You need every single one of these. I believe the max is 55. You can hit that before you get into the next stage of the game if you play all of the acts back to back. But when you hit that, you're going to probably do a lot of reconfiguring, especially if your build changes. But again, no harm, no foul. You can turn them in and change them anytime. Let's kill this fool. So this guy's a part of our quest. As you see, he's got a star on him. He's also a dirty bastard. He's kind of gross. Cool. Not gonna pick up any of that stuff. So right now, my plan is just to level up as much as possible, as fast as possible. Now, a lot of this territory I've already explored. You'll find cool little caves here. Go into them, explore them, check them out. You'll probably die. It's fine. It's a part of the game. Now, this one got a lot of poison in it, which poison is awful in this game. It will destroy you. But there's also cool bosses, and depending on some of your builds, you want to come into these because this is where you'll find some crazy gear. Like, oh, look at this bad guy right here, right? Yeah, he sucks. Nope. So we're just gonna let that dot kind of work on him a little bit. As you see, he's toast. Nope. Yeah, okay, buddy. You're cool. Ooh, no. Yeah, and you're dead. Sweet. Now you see some of these guys drop these little spoils orbs. This is where you get new stuff. Now you see I'm all green right now, which is awesome. So that means my equipment's going to be way better. Yeah, I definitely want that. No thanks. This one, no, not going to use it. Now the health would be nice, but don't care. Now, you might notice this little guy over here. These are cool. So you want to attack every single one of those that you can. Before you do, try to clear out everything around you, because these will have lots of rare enemies. Oh boy, that's not good. I'm trapped. Good thing is I do a lot of damage, and this guy's not really doing much to me. Cool. So you see when you do those, obviously those are supposed to be tough, and I'm going to get killed if I don't heal. And that was Aether that was on the ground there. But they give you lots of different items. So these ones are blue, so these are our first epic items, which are cool. Now, as you see, there's not really a lot in there that we care for. I was doing calendars 10%, be happy. This one, Intensify. Is that one of ours? Nah, we don't really care about Intensify. So when you get an item that has skills baked into it, if that skill is a part of your character, you'll see it's highlighted. If it's not, it's gray. Now you'll probably notice, hey, go back. Skill class. Yeah, once you're level 10, you can branch off and do a separate class. I'm not doing that yet. I don't know what I plan on doing to bolster this at the end. So there are some pretty good synergies. We can hit select and go through a lot of these. You don't have to pick one yet. But you got Soldier, which is Warrior. Demolitionist is kind of cool. It's fire-based, so you can do guns, you can do melee. There's bombs and stuff. Occultist. Pet build, poison, vitality damage. Nightblade is your assassin, but it's also got lots of cold and poison and bleed damage. Canis is your mage. Shaman's pretty cool. It's like basically a thunder bleed melee build guy with pets. Obviously, we're the Inquisitor. Necromancer, yeah, is what it is. This is as close to the paladin as you can get with shield throws and stuff like that. But also, you can do either fire or poison builds. So we're not going to do any of that yet. Let's keep building this guy out here. I get my physique. Yep. All right. So as far as these gloves go, I'm going to keep them. And I want to add that. We are going to make sure I have tons and tons and tons of energy. As you see, I have over 1,000 energy, which is nice. That means I can bolster my health. Now, I've said this a bunch of times, but you see stuff shining on the ground, that's stuff that you can break or pick up. Do it as much as possible, especially if you haven't played. There are so many items that you can use that'll help you out. Because again, this game can be pretty grueling, especially when you start off, because there's a lot that goes into it. All right, so now we're fighting all these snake weirdo slith dudes, but I like them. They give lots of EXP. A pretty predictable slip necklace. Yeah, we want that. There's a quest for that down the road. Really just not a very good quest, but it's experience. Ooh, what's up, boys? Yeah, we'll pack. Gotcha. Yeah, those mosquitoes, they do lots of vitality damage. They suck. Try to kill those things as fast as possible. They can ruin you very quickly. Alright, look at that. Another cave. Cool. We're going to go in there. Is this the cave I think it is? I don't think so. So there are, oh yeah, this has got more people that you can talk to. Those are your first encounter with human enemies. You don't usually see those until Act 2. Alright, what's up, Jasper? Yep. So anytime you find people, you can usually send them back to Devil's Crossing, which is the city. And you see you do it, you get stuff in return. Being a good guy doesn't hurt. I'm already level 11. Not entirely sure how long I've been doing this, but it goes pretty fast. Yeah, some of these builds work really, really well in the beginning. Ooh, that's nice. Okay, so here's a good example. So at 279, 299. Cool, right? So we gave up what I had some health regen, but I got more health regen, bleeding resistance, energy. Yeah, we are going to do that. So these percentages are very important, as you see. So I just went up 20 points. And that helps my damage out quite a bit. Now, what you're going to be looking at, if you want to actually do the math, you can see I've got 79 fire damage. I've got percentages here. So take your base fire damage and even down here. So character panel has a lot of stats. So if you are into having stats, this game is fantastic. It gives more stats than pretty much any game I've ever seen. Now, this is supposed to be your melee damage. So I wouldn't necessarily go off of this if you're looking at percentages. A lot of times your skills are where it derives from. So the base on the skills which you want to look at if you want to try to calculate it yourself. Because not everything is 100% apparent with this game when it comes to your damage. You have to do a lot of kind of tweaking and practicing But as you can see so far, this build is pretty sweet. Alright, so we got our first rift gate outside here. Now some of these, as you play through the game, will have enemies that pop up, and yeah, you gotta clear them. Just kind of cool. Look at that, done. So that doesn't fulfill any of my quests, so I don't care. So now we're gonna move on. So what I'm looking for now, there are 3 dudes I need to kill. Do we have 5? Okay, we need. So I'm gonna try to find those dudes, but also there is another cave that I'm gonna go into that has a shrine. Ah, look at that. They just made our lives easier. So that's one thing I like about this game quite a bit, is you got stars on the map that show you what you need. That sucked. Come on, you bastard. Yeah, he heals. So this guy has 2 phases. He always heals halfway through. And then you see he does lots of tricks and he throws those things. And if they hit you, you get stunned, which sucks. He's very powerful. And I actually played him on Ultimate once with a very bad build. And his health regen was so great that I could not kill him, no matter what I tried. As you see, this helmet we're probably going to want. It's got tons of resistances. It's got some damage we don't care about, but the resistances are huge. So we're going to set that aside. I always set my equipment that I want to keep over here. It doesn't always end up working out, but it's kind of like my trial and error kit. All right, so we're going to go down here. All right, so killing that dude fulfills the quest for the lady back in town. And so now we have 2 more guys we got to kill for the vendor who loves blood. This dude's always sending me on quests to kill people. He's kind of a psychopath. Oh, and we got her heal. Yeah, I'm not going to save it for that. Alright. Sorry, bud. This guy sucks too. And he's dead. Cool. Gotta love the power of the dot. Alright, let's check these things out here. So, right away, damage is crazy. We still have some good energy regen. So, I mean, our energy regen is pretty solid for right now, so I think what we're going to do is drop this in here, watch the damage. 307. And this belt. Got some pierce resistance and armor. Yeah, we want that too. Now you guys will notice offensive and defensive ability. So if you go back to the main tab here, these determine a lot of how you get hit, how you hit. So if you want critical chance, you need offensive ability. If you want to lower your chance to get hit critically, defensive ability. Again, a lot of stats to play with here. Oh, did I actually? Okay. All right, so that's 2 out of 3 guys, as you see, are gone, as indicated by my little quest tracker. Ooh, I got a little pal now? That's cool. Oh, you know what? That's probably for that offhand I just equipped. Yeah. So you see grand skills, 5% chance on attack, then I summon that dude. So you get all sorts of crazy stuff like this. There are even skills that you can get off of these components, or even some items that you can actually replace your actual skills with, and then so you can take everything back out of your skill tree, reinvest it into something else, completely change your build. And to be fair, this game has been going on for a decade now, so they have polished the bejesus out of this. There are 1,000 ways to skin a cat, and they found an additional 1,000 to do so. I'm surprised they don't have a blade called Cat Skinner. Alright, here's the 3rd guy. This guy's the worst. If you get too close to him, he gets this little aura here. There we go. Yeah, you don't want to stand in that. That one hurts you quite a bit. Yay. Right, you just see we're progressing pretty quickly here. So if you think this is too easy, you can change the difficulty level. But again, most of this part of the game is really just trying to show you what everything looks like. It's kind of teaching you what does and doesn't work. Again, I cannot tell you how many times I've gotten this far with the build and just wanted to gouge my eyes out because it was so difficult. Especially melee builds early on, they can be very, very tough. The magical ones seem to be kind of the opposite. They start off and you feel like a god, and then they kind of pull the rug out from underneath you here. But what I found is that you level up your physique as much as humanly possible. Cool. So we got all these here. That probably requires two-handed. As you'll see, a lot of times you have these little modifiers, right? Usually determined by this little crystal. Those modifiers do some crazy stuff, but they have requirements. So for this, we need to be dual wield, or not dual wield, but a two-hander. I'm not doing that. The benefits of that are not going to outweigh having two items that I can put extra components into, and especially the offhand that gives me all the regen that I need. Yeah, we're going to zoom all the way out. For casters, you want to see the whole map as much as possible. If you're melee, it's kind of cool to be able to zoom in and see what you're doing. Hey, look at that. There's the shrine I wanted. As you see, look at this thing. So it's covered in stuff. Desecrated shrine. You click on that bad boy. Summons monsters. You kill them all. You get your extra points. So now we should have 3 of those. Hey, I still don't know what I'm going to do. Now for a caster, if you are kind of lost, I'll show you what I generally like to start with, depending on whether or not I'm having survivability issues or if I'm having issues with mana, or not mana, but energy. Same thing. But as you can see, we're no longer having those energy problems. Again, I have the components that you might not have access to. As you see, these just drop randomly. Usually it's enemy types that drop them. And you don't see the ghosts until later on. Hey, look at that. Come on, guys, just die. Oop, and they're swarming me. Yeah, you get a lot of that here. In this game, you'll be moving along, and then all of a sudden, you're going to get swarmed. And you know, to be fair, even if you guys did this without all of the stuff that I have, you could still do the build and just try to manage your energy. And maybe you could even be less conservative and dump everything in. That way it's one shot on most things. Alright, so this dude, we're going to turn in the quest to give him these necklaces. So I collected, I only collected 4? Is that all he needs? Cool. Collect that quest, be done with it. He needed 3. Ooh, helmet time. So we're going to put that helmet on. I'm going to give myself some of that. We want this ring for the resistances. Those resistances are awesome. So just make sure you get your resistances up as fast as you can. That will save your butt. And now I'm selling these components because I have a million of them. For you guys starting off new, might as well keep them. Alright, now can I try something out here? Well, you guys have already seen that. Don't need to see that. I'm just going to keep this gun. Let's say once I hit, I think level 20, we can really start looking at some components to get more damage. And when I get back to town, I'll do a little example testing here. Now you see we got ourselves another little guy right here on the map. You'll see the Savage Totem. So now it makes me go. You'll see sometimes it takes you a little secret side areas. Now this one's not super secret, but it's over here. It's kind of off the beaten path. I mean, you could literally explore this map for hours. Honestly, if you're a new player, I would take the time to look at every nook and cranny, because you'll find stuff that you've never seen before. Oh, my first shoulders. Yeah, and again, look at these resistances. Pretty solid here, especially things like bleed, pierce. This I'm definitely going to want to get up because poison is a big deal. Poison will level you. Alright, let's trigger this bad boy. Oh, see ya. cool thing about this, because it's a dot, you can just kind of run away. If I want to, I can still shoot this fool. But a lot of these melee guys, you don't really want to mess with them. Nope. See ya. Ooh, Bolton Walkers. Yeah. Yep, we're gonna want those. Why? Fire damage. Ooh, I leveled up again. Oh, and you see, yeah, these things, they drop. Lots of good gear. So we got something new here. Aether resist. No. Yeah. I don't like losing the energy, but pierce and cold resist is kind of nice. So we're gonna do that. Now, this is for a little bit later on in this first stage here. You will get a character who can take these apart, and so you can either salvage the item or the component. Honestly, I usually just salvage the item, keep the component. Oh, let's see. We're gonna pump more into this here. Get some damage going here. So now if we look, 470 to 560, that's pretty good. Yeah, you can get these flat damage numbers into the 5-digit characters. Alright, so we've pretty much got everything that's important. So like I said, there are secret areas and side areas you can find, but I've memorized where most of the stuff is at. So now our next thing here, so you notice it's kind of divided, it's kind of nice, right? There's little chunks of all these maps. So it's like, oh, I'm gonna do my first part, gets me to here, second part gets me to here, third part gets me here. So now we're in the fourth part. We've already unlocked 3 shrines. So now there is a quest we're going to find out here. So it's Return Harmon. So there's this second vendor. He's kidnapped, and it's one of 2 areas. So it's almost always, for me at least, on the right side of the map. And so I always go all the way down, which is good because you can get some really good experience. There's plenty of mobs down here. And sometimes this dude is trapped down here, very rarely, but start at the bottom right of the map. Just clear your way up. You'll find the dude locked in a cage. You can release him. Now this dude, at least for melee, tends to have the better weapons than the other guy. So it is worthwhile to get him, and of course it's a quest. Look at that, another cave. Cool, so we're going to rescue this fool, send him back to the prison. Devil's Crossing, get out of here, buddy. Sweet, so he'll be there when we get back. We're going to go in this cave. I recommend you go into every cave you can. Oh, no time for drinks. Oh, you know what? I still have this. Nope. Isn't that nice? Yeah, so little piles like this where you're gonna find a lot of your scrap, and you will need scrap. And obviously, if you recall, when I showed you guys where you go to Act 2, it's scrap that unlocks that. It's scrap that unlocks different areas. So you need the scrap for a lot of different stuff. It's definitely worthwhile to keep. And there's a ton of it you can find pretty much everywhere. I got this fold here. Now this guy will freeze you, so you kind of want to stay out of his way. He's not cool. Yeah, that right there, no bueno. You don't want to get frozen. These dudes will mess you up if you're frozen. But as you see, the dot damage really does its job. And I got frozen, that sucks. Cool. Ooh, another necklace. What we got here? Alright guys, so I'm going to be taking this. As you see, it gives me +2 to Word of Pain. And then it gives me a bunch of elemental damage. A bunch. But we get tons of health. We get pierced poison resistance off the map, so watch this. you're going to see this jump quite a bit. Bam. But also, look at that, 56%. And let's see, do I need... Nope, okay. I'm not going to put that component back on there. Wow, it just keeps raining these, doesn't it? So, this ring right here is going to give me more. So, and again, you can't really see what, but I'm looking at my 2 rings here. So the one on the left does not have any resistances that really matter. 6% bleeding is nothing. However, I can add elemental of 11, another 15 poison. You max out at 80 on the sheet. Obviously, you can go over their items that give you additional max, but we also get some health and energy regen. I'm going to lose a little on my damage here. Let me show you here. So, but I can take 30 damage if that means that my elementals are going to be up here. So I'm going to pull back on using the components that I have, just so you guys can see what this actually looks like without cheating, if you will. Dead, dead, dead. And so your castings don't have to be quick. And obviously you can also regen your mana. I just like it for quality of life, right? Not having to worry about my mana is kind of nice. Ooh, come on, boys. Yeah, every time I come to a cave, I get attacked. It's kind of messed up, dude. I guess when you're in a post-apocalyptic world, that's what happens. Look at that. That's nice. Yeah, when you level up the main stat, and you just see, so when you do that, normally it's white, right, where you're just putting your points in. So this tells me how many additional points I have in blue, the points that I've added. Those points that are added by items do progress everything. So like your damage, your for this one, like the energy cost, obviously, and then the coverage here. So I'm going to almost 10 meters, so about 30 feet of coverage, which is awesome. And I'm going to level up again. Generally, I would say right when I get to this bridge, I'm about 13 or 14, so we're on track. Now, this gets you to the second part of the stage. If we wanted to, we could repair it. You're not going to be able to usually at this stage. So we want to go in the cave anyway because we have a boss and another shrine. So this takes me. All right. Make sure we unlock our waypoint here. We're going to keep all rolling. Kill that fool. Now there is an additional area in here that requires, again, requires dynamite this time to unlock. Yeah, you'll find dynamite pretty soon here. If you have the dynamite, you're not going to want to mess with it. It's a bunch of undead. They're super high level. They will destroy you. But I believe there is an item in there that does give you skill modifications that are pretty cool. And with this word of renewal, just try to keep this up as much as possible. And see, it helps with your movement speed, obviously defense. Oh, look at that, leveled up again. Now it's really going to start taxing my energy. You just want to kill everything that I see here. And so once we clear this cave, we'll go back to town, and I want to show everybody the components, how they can improve your damage, Yeah, and see, sometimes you just gotta let this refill. So yeah, if you don't have the components to do what I did, the ectoplasm, that's kind of what you have to do. Alright, always check to make sure any of these are upgrades. Yeah, also lightning damage. We do have lightning damage, so we want that upgrade, so watch these boots. Look at that. And those boots give us more spirit, more resistance. We're looking good there. These pants, no brainer. Jesus, that's so much better. Just a sec, guys. Got a work thing going on here. Alright, back in action here. Oh, you know what? Let's get that belt. Burn damage, poison resist. So, yeah, we're going to take this too. Look at the resistances, they're piling up. And if you want to check some of your regen, so you can do energy regen, health regen. So I'm getting 26 energy per second. This guy is 46 energy cost, so not quite refilling it, but hey, you know what? I'll take it because that's cool. Well, our energy pool is high enough. So far, I gotta say, I'm liking this build. I have not done this skill before, but I was thinking about it. I was watching Rax play Grim Dawn for the first time, and I thought it'd be cool to do something that I've never done after watching him play a game he's never played. And again, I'm really happy that this game is getting some popularity. It is great. It's just a fantastic game. One of my favorites. I think we are getting lots of equipment. Okay, we'll just keep everything as it is. Yeah. Ooh, hey, watch this. Oh man. Okay, we're not doing the molten walkers. Sometimes you have to sacrifice damage for balance. Nope. Sorry, bud. Yeah, don't let this guy. He will smoke you. Dude is strong. If you're playing this with a controller, you actually have there is a nice additional dodge button. What else we got here? Falcon Claw. That is a great weapon for another build. Ooh, amulet. Some of these guys will drop cool stuff. So you see a lot of these. Again, we've got the little signet next to the name. They have modifiers. So like the one that I have is Word of Pain. It doesn't modify my damage at all or the skill, but it can. And so a lot of these creatures that you kill, they will drop items that modify your skills. On the other character that I'm doing, the Caldor's Tempest, it completely changes the damage type. It adds damage to it, and it's super, super cool. So it's definitely worth looking at every item that drops, even if you don't need it. I usually keep my item filter set to pretty much everything. Ooh, ectoplasm, look at that. So now, if we want to be fair, we can take that first one and drop it in and give ourselves more energy. And that would be acceptable. Definitely recommend it. So now we're going to go back. You got some quests to turn in. So this is the guy that wanted me to kill all those creatures. Yeah, he's kind of a sicko. We're going to sell all this crap. I do not need any of it. Cool. All right, I'm going to talk to this dude we saved. Sup? Thanks, bro. I'm going to talk to this chick here. Her brother's dead. Yeah, that sucks. She gives you an amulet. That amulet also sucks. We can sell it to this guy. All right. Now we're gonna look at some components. On this page here, you have two buttons on this side. So this button right here will take all the components from your inventory, move them over here. This button sorts everything. Pretty sweet, right? So now, I have a request to improve our damage here. So it looks like we have a pretty even split. Cold, fire, lightning, so we can kind of do whatever we want to. So we're gonna look for some components that give us extra damage. So we've got chilled steel, which does 3 cold damage, 12% increase. Yeah, we'll look at that. This guy, fire here is 2 to 4, 12% increase. And lightning, 1 to 5, 12% increase. So, what we should look at here, one, these are all about the same. Lightning does have a higher breakdown, so it's probably the route to go. If you scroll down, though, you can see your global modifier increase percentage. So that, I believe, is from the gun. Yep. So the gun is giving us all that damage here. And now you see that gun does give us some damage, right? That's 6. How do we get that? Well, we got the 2 to 3 fire damage, plus the additional percentages here. So what we want to do then, I always like to stack the one that I have the most of. So that would be lightning. So we're going to go ahead, watch this here. What do we got? 721, lightning. Now the cool thing is you can do this in both. And so now we just added 20 extra damage for no reason. Oh, and more components here. So we can also add some stuff to armor, feet, belt, all that fun stuff. Now we're not really far enough to do so, but like this anti-venom salve, this I love to put on belts because belts kind of suck. We don't really need it, so we'll hold off on that. What are other ones? I'll have to make the other ones, but there are little rune stones you can put in your helmet and medals that work well. There is a piece of silk that you put in, you to do shoulders and pants to give me pierce and bleed. Chest, I mean, that's all over the place. If I want some damage and protection, you got this little guy you get from killing a boss in Act 3. There's just lots of stuff that you can do here. Oh, you know what? I think we need to look here. So, in terms of the devotions, so the one that I was talking about here, so down here we have this one, Elemental Storm. So when you use this, it puts a little whirlpool on the ground, and anything in it gets hit with damage, and the elemental resistance gets reduced, which is cool. So it rips their resistance down, it hurts them, and then obviously our attacks work even better. So I like to build to this one. So in order to get there, we need to have 4 purple, 6 green. Over here, it shows you what you've got and even highlights which ones count. So purple, green, we want a mixture of. So purple and green. So there's these two guys down here, these little candle feather looking dudes. If you look at them, we've got elemental damage, great. Resistance, great. Physique is great for your health. And we got some energy regeneration. I like that. More elemental damage. This one also has elemental. We got 8th resistance from both of these, which is good. This just goes to your health pool, energy pool. And then, oh, look at that. More energy regeneration. So these two I like to start off with because they hit both green and purple. At least this one does. This one for three of these constellations, I can get 4, which is almost done there. So what I like to do is this one, leave a purple in here to hit my 4, snag this. This gives us damage right off the rip. You get to lock this with your 3rd one, and it boosts everything. And these are nice to get extra resistances on. We've got 4 of these, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to hit purple. Oh no, we won't want to do that. We're going to get green and go this way. 1, 2, 3. Because what I'm going to do, I'm going to unlock this one. I'm going to pull this guy off, invest it into here, put one back in a purple, lock this guy out here. Now, I also like to do this empty throne here because defensive, resistance, resistance, more resistance, more resistance. So Aether, Chaos, those are very, very hard to get. Oh, look at that, 788. So we've gone up 60 points of damage. Just want to make us some changes. Nothing crazy. So I'm going to go back out here. So we have a couple of quests. So we need to, one, find the hammer for this dude. He's going to be our blacksmith to make a bunch of shit. And then we got to kill some more creatures for a guy. And then we need to find the portal for Burwitch, the village. So this is kind of where we start getting into the back half of this act. So we're gonna go through here. There, down this way is an area where you can get a key to go into kind of like not a secret area, but a special area where there's a boss. The crappy thing about it, if you don't get that key, you can't go in, and they're all a bunch of casters who use chaos, poison, and fire, so they kind of suck. Let's level up again here. Let's just full rip. We're just going to level this thing all the way up. I like the damage output so far. And then did we get more? Yeah, 10 meters, so more range, more coverage. Oh, look at that, another totem. I love those totems. Cool. We're just going to now, we're going to go through just the standard stuff. As you see, this guy's got like some herpes on his face or something, so we're not going to go with him. We are going to take the first item in each conversation, just to take the hammer from him, give it to our other dude. Now, I think in the past, there used to be a difference in what kind of stuff they could make at a certain level. I don't really care. I don't really think it matters too much. You get blacksmiths from all over the place. Alright, so we're going to take the hammer and set it aside. Oh, that's a nice amulet. Don't care. You always want to look at these because they give all sorts of stuff. So, like, we got skill cooldown, I don't care about, but energy regen is pretty solid. Aether resistance. Yeah, not doing it. Armor. Yeah, we're doing that. To be honest with you guys, I don't usually have such great resistances this early on. So this is pretty cool. Alright, so we're going to go back through here. We're going to kill a bunch of dudes. So this area is huge, right? So the area we're trying to get to is the village, which is kind of like northwest of here. There's a couple of different paths you can take to get there. What's that? Oh, yeah, over here is the East March. You don't unlock that until way later on. It's just so you can see some of these. Yeah, Celestial Totem. Yeah, those are much, much higher level totems. You'll get destroyed if you go over there early. But back to this area, so you can go down through here. You can kind of take the back route to where we need to go. We are not going to do that, only for the fact that we have a quest and another shrine to unlock this way. Oh, now sometimes you guys will see you have a blockage. That sucks. So now I'm going to have to go up and around. Yeah, the game changes the map dynamically, so the map itself stays the same, but the paths that you can take change with every playthrough. There is a cave out here, I think a little further north. There's some big old juiced up ogre in there. Yeah, it's not really worth it. You can try to fight him and get something out of it. He's got like 60k health at this point in the game, so he's pretty robust. I beat him with another build. I did a shaman that had a lot of life steal, so I was able to sustain myself pretty well. Oh, and if you guys haven't noticed, there's these little eye icons on the map, and those are places of interest that you can enter. So caves, cellars, stuff like that. But hey, we're going to go in a cave like we seem to always do. Caves have lots of goodies. Mainly, another shrine. Woohoo! Stormbox. Ooh, okay. Amulet of the Eye. Yeah, I'm good. Cool. All right, so let's, while we got a sec, go into devotions. We're going to fulfill this one. Bam. So when you complete one, you'll see right here it says complete constellation bonus. So it takes 3 and 3, throws them in my completed affinities over here. So now what that means is that I do not have to use this to get either green or purple. So I can rip this out of here, drop it into here, and start working my way towards getting the bonus I was showing you guys, that elemental crown. And honestly, any build you have that has any elemental damage, elemental crown is phenomenal. Anytime you can reduce enemy resistances, you're going to be doing a heck of a lot more damage. Life will be a lot easier. But as you see right now, life is pretty easy. Cool. Nope, don't think so. Yeah, these spiders are assholes. Yes, once you got the cave, so left-hand side, lots of dudes to clean up here. These are some annoying little orc dudes. They've got witch doctors that heal them if you don't kill them first, so they suck. The range on this is crazy. Look at that, level 16. Whew. All right, so we got 4 more, so we got 1 more of our own skills we can put into Word of Pain. And as a note, you can go 10 levels over each of your skills with your items. So there's a lot to max out. So we'll be able to hit 26 on this, which is ideally what you want. So if you can stack that, that's where a lot of your flat damage is at, and then you can really stack up. You look at the damage I'm doing. But you can stack up your percentage bonuses, and then all of a sudden you are insanely powerful. Like, this is nuts. Yeah, some of these caster builds are stupid. Especially this, I love dot. Dot builds provide a lot of ease of use, although they can be difficult. But being able to walk away after you just kind of plant the bomb, it's kind of nice. Especially since a lot of these creatures move. So, I mean, look at that. No risk. And I can cover the map. Now, if you want to, you can go through here and unlock, well, not unlock, but you can find a character that you're going to find anyway. His name is Olgrim. He's a dude that's going to be part of the whole adventure here right up until the end. You get some extra EXP and then some different dialogue since he's going to be with you earlier on, but it doesn't really matter. I want to get to the next point here so I can show you guys more of the quest. I'd say this build is coming along pretty nicely. We haven't even really gotten too far into it. Now this, we'll get around this bad boy here. So this portal is kind of like the one I showed you guys earlier where enemies pop up. Do not walk into it yet. When you get to this point, walk around. There's a bunch of dudes over here. They'll sneak up on you. You don't want any of that. Anytime there's going to be an encounter, and there's a lot of like little secret encounters, you always want to clear the room because there is a boss in here who's got a nasty damage type, and if you find yourself struggling, you're going to have to move and run away, and you will run into another pack, and you're going to get killed. So now we're going to trigger this thing, and I'm going to wipe these dudes out. So look over there. These guys suck. And not a problem. That was nice. Cool. So, what was that? Ah, chilling rounds. Don't care. Alright. What was that? Cast speed? No. Oh, this thing right here. Alright. Never mind. We're going to turn quest in now. Back to John Mervin. What's up, bud?
You filming?
Yeah, even when you were down here, I was filming.
So that we finished part 1 of this skyscraper, it's an hour and 22 minutes. And I want to make a thumbnail of this skyscraper I have by but I don't know how to take that. And then I want to put like.
Don't yell. If you're yelling, just chill out, bro. Take a screenshot of it.
I don't know how to take a screenshot. That's the thing. What buttons do you need to click?
Google it. It's in there.
Okay.
Alright, there's that quest. We're gonna go back here. I'm gonna get the blacksmith dude. So now he's gonna be coming with us. I'm gonna go back. And now we're gonna get some points from him. Now we're going to unlock the component salvager, if you will, pretty soon here, which is pretty nice. So blacksmith, he can make lots of stuff. So relics, we kind of talked about that earlier. They go down here. They do lots of modifications and stuff. Get back towards the end. You got melee weapons, range weapons, all armor components. So this part's cool. So components and then accessories would be like rings, amulets, things like that. So you can go down here and once you get these recipes, you can make these pretty much anytime you need to. So if we're looking at damage, so the one that I'm probably going to end up using, depending on the weapon that I keep here, let's see, for cold damage, there is the cold stone. So as you see, this does chilling weapons. It grants you a buff, which is cool. So buffs in this game are automatically activated. You don't have to mess with anything. So you'll get a little icon on the bottom of your screen, and then you'll get that damage output. And that actually grows as you level. That 31 cold damage will go up. Same thing with the percentage. Chain and flint, same deal here. Now, what you'll find, and this can kind of get annoying, is that certain elements don't have components that work with certain weapon types. So if you want lightning damage and you want it to be in a buff that's automated, you have to use a ranged weapon to get Hell's Bane ammo because it's only good for guns and crossbows. Now, because I have a caster offhand, I could put that on there as well. I generally like to double up. That way I maximize as much as I can. So depending on the element that you're focusing on, you need to change your weapons to match that. Oh, good lord, but look at that damage. So right now, fire seems to be our top tier damage, so it's probably worth it for us when we get her. We take these components out, we go to fire or cold, depending on which one we want, and we work that way. That must mean that the damage output on this, oh, it's because lightning is only in here. Which honestly makes sense because this one has the percentage modifiers to fire and cold. Oops. So that must mean down here, yeah, my lightning is still higher, but my base is lower, so yeah, we'll switch that over. You definitely have to make adjustments based on some of the things you see here. Now this chick is supposed to give me a quest. But we'll get that in a sec here, so. So she needs 3 pieces of cloth. Just a moment, I'll be right back. All right, so the goal with this here, we're gonna get the cloth, save the one person, and then we'll wrap it up for this part here. because the back half of this is going to be quite a few levels in the Warden's Cellar. That will take us a minute. Alright, so sometimes you see on the map little areas you think you can get to, but you'll notice like right here there's kind of a pinch. So sometimes you just gotta kind of walk around. But this mini map is nice right here. And again, these areas are huge. You guys could explore this, and I would recommend it. Again, if you're new, check out every nook and cranny, fill the map out. The map will uncover as you walk through it. It's definitely worth checking everything out. Don't leave any stone unturned. It's part of the experience. There'll be stuff that you find that's just super cool, stuff that you know, you might not know about, things that you can use possibly for builds down the road. So we're maxed out there, which is cool. Now we're gonna go right here. We got one more of these pieces here now. This is nice. So Pierce, Ether, Chaos. Now, here's the problem. You don't do any of those damage types. So, it doesn't really help you out a ton. I'm willing to bet that there is a modifier we can find that changes the skill over. We'll see about that. Alright, abandoned waterfront. There should be a broken spot here. So there is a cave we're going to go into over here. This actually does have a really nice weapon drop. Oh boy. Look at that. How many times have I walked into a place and then I've just been absolutely bombarded? Kind of the theme of the game, isn't it? But when you have an AoE clear skill, life is easy. Was that guy dead already? Jesus. That's cool. Check, this guy's got a nice little weapon here. So if you're a warrior or a necromancer, especially that reaping strike actually steals health. It doesn't cost anything because it is a weapon. It's like a weapon trigger, default weapon modifier, if you will. That thing is nice for sustainability. Ooh, fabric, there we go. So now if that woman had the quest to give me at the time, which sometimes she does, sometimes she doesn't, it would have actually told me what chest I have to go to. But there's 3 of these, and essentially I just got to find the chest. So there's 2 of them generally that are out here in the wild, and then you can usually find the 3rd one either in this little building we're going to find or right next to it. What ribbon? I don't have one of those yet. So always explore all these chests because it's going to be in the chests. Sometimes it's under here. Nice. And then sometimes it's over by the stairs, which it might be. Ooh, more scrap and fabric. Number 3. There we go. Cool. Sometimes the fabric is up here, but you got to come up here anyway to get through, and you always want to get all of these. So I'm going to move the fabric over. No. Check that. Don't care. Alright, not for me. Man, this build is strong. Alright, so we're going to come down here. That's what we're looking to do. Hopefully I'll be able to go up and through the house over here, down to the area that I want. If not, then we'll go up and around. We might even have to go into a cave. Based on what we've been doing today, I'm probably going to be that damn cave again, so let's find out. Go up here, down through. Oh, look at that, I'm lucky. So usually there's a flaming boulder right here. So as you see, we found ourselves yet another shrine. Can't tell. I know where they're all at. And yeah, we're picking up all this stuff. Some of these guns have elemental bonuses to them. Alright, let's weaken this shrine up here. This guy's all stuck. Get some scrap. Alright, let's add that devotion shrine there. We're going to go over to this boy. Go up this right here. And I do need to go back to town, so we'll go back to town as soon as we rescue this chick, because that's where we're going to end the video off here. And we'll break that wall so we can cut these dudes up. Yeah, this part of the game, you're going to level up fast. The density of monsters in the back half of this Act 1 are really, really high. Alright, see you later, lady. And so I'm going to see if I can't level up before we go back to town. I mean, I'll obviously get some EXP from rescuing her, but yeah, I like leveling up by killing these dudes. There we go, look at that. Boom, boom, boom. Cool. And so we are maxed out there, so now we are going to push it. Alright. Let's go back. Oh, actually, no, we're not going to wrap up yet. I do have to get my last portal. So we're going to rescue her now. She's cool, so you can come in here, anything that you want to pull apart. So like, say if I want to get this off of here, you put your item in here, you can keep the item, keep the add-on, which is your component. Augments are later on, but you can also remove those from the weapon as well, or the item. Lots of different cool things you can do here. Alright, so actually we're going to go over to this chick from the start. See, she should have cool quest indicator. She woke up. Sometimes this chick gets nasty with you. There we go. Look at that. We are going to peel that guy off of there. And add him there. More elemental resistance. So our resistances are looking pretty crisp. So this will be the only tough one because the boss for this level is all about Aether. But I imagine we're going to dot him down, so it's not going to matter. Alright, so let's find this last waypoint. And we'll wrap it up for the day. Let's look at that damage. Look at that. 1654. It's pretty much one hit kill on every monster that you run into. Really helps to clear packs out. And as you see, the spread on that, what is that? 12 meters. Jesus. That's probably the whole screen. Yeah, that's cool. Hey, boys. And as always, pick up all these diaries and journals and notes. You don't have to read them. You can. The lore in this game is really, really good. But they're all EXP, which is even more important. Look at that, 2,000. One hit for 2,000. That's nuts. Alright, Warden Cellar. So this is the last part of this. So there will be two more rifts in here that you'll find before you get to the Act boss. And so, it's on my stuff. And we will wrap it up. Oh, actually, I want to check that weapon out. What are these? Physical damage? Ugh. No. Slugger? No. Ooh, maybe, though. Maybe, just maybe. See, these things here, they require some spirit, but these give flat damage. So, like 5 cold damage. That's pretty solid. Oh, well, not to level 20. So, level 20, I will rip these shards out here. And it looks like we're going to end up going fire, because fire has the highest damage. And so that'll end up being, I believe, enchanted flint. Let's see here. Shannon Flynn, I think I have some. Crap. That only works on melee. White touched. No. Okay. Yeah. We'll see about all that. All right. Cool. Well, wrap it up here. Thank you for anyone watching here. Appreciate it. And if you could please like and subscribe, that definitely helps out.